Eric, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Ger. How are you?
It's been a long time in the making, but finally the first episode goes live. You must be feeling like, watching your kid play sport for the first time.
Yeah, something like that. All right. I was just talking to Will O'Callaghan. Will is my producer, and yeah, we've been working on this for quite a while. And I was telling Will yesterday, I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous about all of this. Like, I do interviews without ever even thinking about it. I'm on the other side of the mic and I'm answering the questions, and I'm okay with that. And that's kind of been the pattern of my life anyway, through sport and other areas as well. But now I'm on the other side. I'm asking the questions. I'm the host. And I said I'm very nervous about this. But you know what? I'm very excited as well, because it's the kind of chats and discussions that I enjoy having with people. It's just real talk, really, just about, everything and anything from that goes on in human beings' lives.
You've got a real curiosity about these people. What do you want to find out about them? What are you trying to uncover when you are chatting to them, or what are you kind of trying to learn for yourself even?
Well, I suppose this was kind of triggered through the whole the pandemic, the lockdown. It made a lot of people stop, regroup, have a look at things, and kind of just put things into perspective. And I just, when I was approached about getting the podcast going, I was just thinking this is a really good time to kind of touch base with people and see how they are. People are really being honest about how they're feeling, and there's a lot more stigma lifted around mental health and emotional health, and we're talking a lot more. And I just said, I have some wonderful conversations on a daily basis, weekly basis with people, and I just said, wouldn't it be great if we could air some of these conversations? And I identified a few, high-profile people across Ireland who I knew were kind of okay with sharing their story, but I kind of have to, if you want people to talk, and you want people to talk openly and honestly about, their heaviest, their heaviest feelings and their darkest thoughts, and but also the good times as well. But if you want people to talk about the tough stuff, the stuff that we find uncomfortable to talk about, then you have to give a bit to them as well. So I don't mind opening up with them. If I'm looking for them to open up with me, I got to open up back to them. So we're trying to create that dialogue, and just to kind of give the listener an understanding that, everything is not, and social media can sometimes, everything is not rosy basically. And social media can sometimes portray that there's these perfect lives out there. There's no such thing as a perfect life, and we're all capable of, we all fall down, and we're all capable of getting back up. And so that's the kind of chats I want to give to people, interesting chats, but about people who are successful, but have went through a bit of adversity in their life, have fell down, have messed up, have screwed up, like myself, but turned it around, and that's what I'm trying to do, just to kind of give the listeners a bit of inspiration and a bit of hope, basically.
Well, that's the thing, because I'm sure a lot of people listen sometimes and go, Jesus, this is just unmitigated misery. But the whole point about this is that there is recovery, there is an opportunity at the end, there is a way of navigating from those dark places. And I think your point about sharing your own story as well, it can't be easy to keep going back to that well.
No, it's not, sure. Like, I was in Intel there yesterday. I had a couple of talks in there yesterday. I was speaking with the staff of PJ Hegarty and Sons. So, like, they invited me in. There's Men's Health Week going on in there. But I was just telling them, look, I know it's Men's Health Week in here, and that's great, and it's highlighted. But it's Men's Health Week every week, and it's Women's Health Week every week, and it's Children's Health Week every week. But yeah, look. Sometimes and I've said this before, when I open up, I feel exposed. I do, and I feel a little bit uneasy. Sometimes I feel a little bit uneasy afterwards. But it's a small price to pay. If there's people reaching out to you, telling you that, like, your words has made all the difference for them. Your words has helped somebody to get up out of bed today. That's a small price to pay, I think. So that's why I do it. I continue to do it. Will I always do it? I don't know. Maybe. But I try to just stay in the present, and I just try and offer a little bit of, advice, but I just share. Look, we learn. I think the greatest learning is through story. The greatest teaching is through storytelling, and the greatest learning is through hearing stories. And if people can hear real life stories of somebody who has represented their country, somebody who has been at the top level, somebody who's played inter-county, won All-Ireland, somebody who's an all-star, somebody who's European running athletic champion, football and soccer and all different sports, and then successful people in other areas as well, academically, you know, and business. And, you know, if people can hear stories of these real people from all walks of life who have fallen down, who have messed up, who have come from all different backgrounds, then they feel it's okay for me to feel this way. You know, it's okay for me to fail on this occasion, because failure is not, it's not a permanent thing. I always say this to people, like, you know, the person that has failed the most is the person that's the most experienced, you know. So don't be fooled by a rejection or a failure or a loss. That's all just another life experience that you put into your backpack, you know. And the person that has that backpack full of life experiences, good or bad or different, whatever, is a person that's a wise, very, in my opinion, a very wise person, and a person that has learned a lot throughout life. So that's what I'm trying to portray to people, and I hope they enjoy it. Look, I mean, podcasts are huge now at the moment, aren't they? And I just hope that people will tune in and give it a listen once a week, and yeah, that would be great.
They are going to enjoy it, I've no doubt, absolutely. I wonder often when you're having these conversations with people, is it a completely separate thing from your sports career, or is it actually something that lives in tandem and in some way helps your sports career? Because, like, elite boxing is really hard. It's really difficult. When you are in that ring, somebody's trying to concuss you, and preparing for that is not something that any of us really fully understands, like, until you go and sit ringside, and even then you don't really have a clue about what's going through your head in the middle of that. So I often wonder, is this an escape, or is it actually something that you can draw on? Is it, or are they completely separate?
Yeah, I often ask myself the same question. I used to get up to a lot of awful self-destructive behavior, and I thought I was out of all of that. But, you know, I'm still putting myself back in there, back into the ring, back into that arena. And I'm just, you know, I just have this burning desire to succeed and to win more. I don't feel like I'm done yet. And I was unfortunate there recently, last month actually, just 10 days out from a European title fight. I picked up a really bad rib injury, and I had to postpone the fight. I had to let it go, you know. But I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that the chance will come back around again. My manager said in September I will get back to a big fight. Whether it's going to be the European title fight or whether it's going to be a world ranking title fight, I do not know. But I do know I'm going to be in a big fight again in September. But that has helped me with my guests, because some of my guests come from a sporting background or high achievers, and have been successful in their chosen discipline. So I can identify with them, you know, and particularly the runners as well, like, you know, with like David Gillick there. Like, I was able to identify a lot with him. I can identify with everybody. With Oisin, I can identify with his recovery. Mary Hulgren is another guest as well. I can identify with her and her, you know, past addictions, and she's in early recovery as well. But, like, I feel like I can connect with these people, you know, and connect with them on a level that's a sporting level, but also on a human level, on an emotional level, because we share similar journeys through life.
Is it a connection with the individual sports person that you find maybe easier to strike up?
Not so much easier, but just, I suppose there's a bit more of a correlation there between our two sports, and but no, not so much easier. I tell you, I really enjoy speaking with everybody, you know, with all people. But I just think there's something really special about having a good, honest, open, heart-to-heart chat with somebody. You know, there's something really refreshing about that. And I have a lot of close friends in recovery, and I would go to a lot of recovery kind of meetings and groups and things like that. And I would hear a lot of inspiring stories. You know, it's amazing. It's wonderful, the kind of stories, the transformations in people's lives. I think it's fantastic. But not everybody gets it. That's the thing. You know, I reckon, like, there's only a very, very small percentage of people who actually can turn their life around if they're if they're living a life of addiction, or really struggling or suffering with their mental health, or whatever way. And of course, it's not just addiction through drink or drugs and other things like that as well. I spoke to a young lady as well who battled anorexia, and what was really jumped out at me there, really struck me, was how a lot of her mannerisms were very, very similar to a person in addiction with drink and drugs. Like, in her lifetime, she was refusing food. Basically, that's what you reject. You reject food when you're battling anorexia. You don't want food. And a lot of the tricks, let's say, that you would use to deceive people, like, say, for example, her mother, yeah, I ate that, but she'd be dumping the food. And, little secretive things that, a person in addiction might do as well, the lies, the deceit and all that. And it's very, very, it's amazing how that was so similar. So I was able to connect with her on that level as well. It's very interesting chat. That won't be for a couple of weeks, but yeah, it's just it's a real mixture on. Yeah.
Are you learning from this as well, Eric?
I am, because I must say, it was very very difficult. I say difficult, but a bit strange, because I didn't really know what kind of role I'm playing here. I'm used to answering questions. I'm used to people asking me questions. Now suddenly I have to ask people questions. So it's a little bit different. And I was thinking, am I the interviewer, or what way is this supposed to be? And then when I tried to move away from the interviewer, interviewee, and just look at just two people having a chat, whether it's over a cup of coffee or whatever, it doesn't matter. I know I'm the one kind of instigating the conversation, so I will be the one kind of asking most of the questions, but I like people to ask me questions too, and I like to give a bit and get a bit, and that's it. And I'm getting comfortable. I'm getting comfortable now, but the learning is massive. The learning, every conversation that I have with every single guest, there's always something you'll take away from each one.
Yeah, well, listen, I wish you the very best of luck with it. I'm fortunate enough to have heard a couple of them. They're brilliant. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. I'm absolutely delighted that it finally is out in public as well. So congratulations, and I'm dying to see you back in the ring whenever that's going to happen as well. So thanks a million. Best of luck with it.
Thank you, Jared. Thanks, Owen. Take care.